And we are here in Beaver Creek, and welcome back. Yeah, we promised we'd be back here. Good crowd here tonight at Flyboys in Beaver Creek. Be back again next week for both the Coach Merriweather and Coach Nagy show. We're talking Wright State men's basketball right now. Over the weekend, the Raiders split, lose Friday night at UIC, but bounced back with a great win in Indianapolis yesterday against IUPUI. And, you know, Coach Nagy, it was interesting listening to your comments and post-game to Coach Brown at the end of the game. You talked about teams and how they react after losses, how they react after wins. That has to be the most difficult challenge as a head coach and a staff, to be able to get a read on your players and get them to learn how to do that, to win.
Well, it's just human nature. It doesn't matter. I think, you know, as coaches, what we're constantly doing is fighting human nature, not only with our players, but with your staff and with you. You just
I'm never a problem, Coach.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. I have to fight my own human nature to relax when things are going well. It just, you know, I think it's the hardest thing for anybody to handle, success.
Well, your team was able to bounce back, and Coach Brown talked during the game yesterday. And, Coach, just jump right in anytime you'd like to. It's just the way your team jumped out to the lead, but they were able – you knew that IUPUI would put on a run later on. Mark Hughes told us after the end of the game, he goes, we knew, coaches told us they're going to come back. It didn't matter how we started. We just got to do this for 40 minutes.
Well, we didn't – I mean, when we're up 19 or 20 or whatever it was, we weren't saying, hey, they're going to come back. But we did say before the game that this was going to be a tough 40-minute game. We know IUPUI is very physical. We know they're tough and they're well coached, and they are, and they've had a good season up to this point, and you know, to win there at their place I think was a great win for us. Obviously, being able to do it coming off of a tough road loss at UIC where we were just so bad offensively, we were just a lot better offensively in this game, and got to the free throw line 29 times, which helps, and we were good defensively in the second half.
Yeah, because they're two guards. One coming off the bench. Manette did not have the game like he's normally been having lately, but Cam Justice is one of the better offensive players in the Horizon League, and you had different players guard him throughout the game. Mark Hughes being one of them, Alan Best also being one of them, and I thought they did a really good job on that young man. Well,
he scored in the 20s, so I don't know how well they did on him. He you know, just we have, I don't know, there are probably 7 or 8 guys in this league that just have the ultimate green light, and it just makes those kids hard to guard because they're going to take bad shots, but because they have the ultimate green light, they know that their coach has confidence in them, and even when they take bad shots, they might make them. Justice is one of those guys that has the ultimate green light.
You know, Coach, I know what Chris is talking about on the defense, because when it got down to there for, I don't know, it was like 5 minutes, it went back and forth. You were up 1, they got up 1, you went up 1, they got up 1, and they went to Justice on 3 consecutive plays, and we made stops, and I thought that was huge.
Yeah, and I don't think it probably helped us, not that you want anybody to get hurt, but he had to leave the game probably to get some stitches. He was bleeding there on the floor and had to leave the game for 5 or 6 minutes, and then when he came back, he was really ineffective after that point. And I think him having to leave the game and come back probably didn't help him.
It looked to me like when he came back, he was trying to do too much.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when we get a lead like that and you have a guy like Mark Hughes that's locked in on you pretty well, and Mark is bigger than him. Mark's probably 3 inches taller than him and longer. I think that you know, when we get leads and Mark gets locked in, it's hard to score on him.
You know, I know you're not a fan of shooting a lot of threes, but there were 2 huge threes made late in that game yesterday, both by experienced players. Cole Gentry hit one from well beyond the three-point line, just came down, nobody guarded him, and
what happened was they switched, and Goss got on him. Their power forward, who's 6'7", and we just watched it on film. I mean, the entire possession, they switched early. Cole kind of drove at him, tried to get him off, and he wanted to shoot it, and he couldn't get him off of him, so he backed it back up to half court. So the entire possession was just Cole just staring his kid down, trying to get him off of him, and finally it didn't. It was an NBA 3. It was a bomb. It was a bomb, but it was a big shot.
And then the one after that by Alan Vest. It was a one-point game, and that turned out to be a dagger because we never got any. They never got any closer than 4 after that.
You know, it's that's what we need. We need our seniors
to
step up and make plays like that. And Alan, Even in the UIC game, we were not very good, and things weren't going very good. But I'll tell you, the one guy that just did not quit was Allen. He played very good in that game,
rebounds.
and I think that he had a great weekend.
He did. Well, just think what he's done here in the last week. I mean, he had that big block against just a week ago. Who was that against? We played so many games here recently. It was our last home game.
It was Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yeah, big time block, and then coming through Sunday afternoon with a big three.
Well, I thought Parker played good yesterday.
Absolutely.
And because Loudon was in a lot of foul trouble the whole game, he just didn't play very many. I think Loudon played 16 minutes, and so Parker had to play a lot of minutes. I thought he really played well for us. And it was Mark's best offensive game in quite a few games. And so our seniors really came through for us coming off a loss.
You mentioned Mark offensively playing for the Raiders yesterday really well. He made a couple of really big aggressive moves. There was one down the baseline that was really key in that game in the second half.
Well, and, we're always for it. We just are. Now, Mark took 4 shots, and he scored 13 points. But the reason he did is because he got to the free throw line. He was very aggressive, and we want more of that from him.
It's interesting. He told us at the end of the game, I said it was a very physical game. You'd mentioned IUPUI is one of the more physical teams, if not the most, in the Horizon League this year. But he played at football, back in high school, and he just kind of smiled because, I like physical games like this.
Well, you better, if you want to be good in college basketball, you better like the physical part of it. Otherwise, I think it's very difficult to be a tremendous player. And they lead the league in rebounding, which tells you they're the most physical team. We're up there. We're doing a good job, I think, even for our size. And we start fairly big, but we play small most of the time. And I think our guys fight pretty well. Yeah,
they tied in rebounds, 36 apiece in the game yesterday against the Jaguars. But turnovers, I think, a little more than you'd like to see from your team.
This weekend, we turned the ball over more than what I would like to see. I didn't think we were quite as judicious with our passing. And, they pressed us a couple times, and we just acted like we weren't ready for it, which we should have been ready for it. We just didn't take care of the basketball like we'd like to see.
Free throw shooting has been a staple for this team, especially in league games this year, right at the top of the league. Of course, yesterday missed a few down the stretch there. It still ended up winning the game, but, Coach and I were talking. We thought, well, maybe it possibly could be fatigue. You're playing in a physical game late in the game like that.
Yep.
Well, it just, the guys aren't perfect, even though we would like them to be, but we do get to the free throw line. I think Coach Kula told me today the second most of anybody in the league. We get there quite a bit, and if we're not the top, we're one of the tops in free throw percentage also.
Well, you've made 371 free throws on the season, and your opponents have shot 384. So that's an incredible statistic.
Yeah, and it's really amazing that we're only a couple games over 500 with that statistic, because generally with that statistic, you're going to have a great season. And regardless of what people say, and they look at the record, our kids have fought. And I was thinking about this coming in today. Just even when things don't go well, and we haven't been as good offensively this year as we thought we were going to be, but our kids haven't quit. They continue to fight. They always play hard.
I think it's a credit to you. I said this yesterday after the game. It's a credit to you and your staff that on two occasions this year, you had games where you didn't perform very well. The one at Detroit, and then you bounced back 2 days later and beat a very good Oakland team. And then yesterday, you bounced back after the UIC. And, I know you said that that's the players, but I think you guys' personality, your the positivity that you give. I mean,
my staff with the positivity. That's why I have those guys around, because if I hired somebody else like me, it would be awful. And I know that. I'm smart enough to at least know that. That just is my nature, to be negative and see the things that need to be fixed. But I do have a very positive staff, and I'm smart enough not to wear the players out with my negativity. And so if I really feel negative, I stay away from them. But I think mostly it's because to be honest with you, the kind of kids we have on our team really care.
Yes.
And when we don't play well at UIC, it bothers them, and they care about it, and they want to do something about it. And I think you see that in the kind of starts we got at Oakland. When we played Oakland, the kind of start we had at IUPUI yesterday.
Yeah, that was incredible. You talk about positivity. When I came down for breakfast on Saturday morning after that thing on Friday night, I sat down with your assistant coach, Nick Goff, and he says, "Coach, this is a positive table."
Yeah. Well, you notice I wasn't there, right?
Did he ever come down?
Yeah.
Well, what do you do in a situation like this? We asked you questions after the game. What can you say? You can't say anything.
There just isn't. You can't plan on Loudon going 5 for 20 and shooting 2 free throws, and We just haven't. We just have not shot the ball well from three. We're last in the league in three-point field goal percentage. We are doing a good job of taking less of them. Yesterday we were 8 for 21, which is a better percentage, but we are taking less of them. We're trying to be more patient. And the thing we did yesterday is we ran a little bit more, and we got some stuff in transition. And so we're really on misses trying to run a little bit more and get some easier shots.
I think in both those games, the one up in Chicago, and I think this is a positive thing, even though Loudon struggled up at Chicago, you're getting the ball into him on virtually 4 out of every 5 possessions when he's in the game. There's an attempt to get the ball into him.
Well, I mean, that's the plan.
Yes.
It just is. And when he's in a good spot and he's very aggressive and posting hard, it puts a lot of pressure on everybody. I know as a coach, I don't like it when other teams throw the ball in the post because it puts a lot of pressure on the defense, and so we're trying to do the same thing.
You know, you talk about three-point shooting. You want to see as many, obviously, with that UIC game. But we're seeing here in the last 4 or 5 games more of the wings cutting to the basket. And, when Parker has the ball and even when Loudon has the ball, even the guards out front,
our guys
cut to the basket.
Yeah, they do a great job of cutting. And, again, that goes back to our assistant coaches and the stuff that they work on with them in practice. And just the keys, when they're whatever their defender's doing based on what they should do and making that read. And our guys, we have smart players that know when to cut and know how to cut, and we have good passers.
Well, offense, defense, you were talking to the guys were kind of down. They weren't making shot against UIC and maybe affected the defense in that second half. Defense was okay pretty much.
Yeah,
and
I think that it did. It just is, when you're so bad offensively like we were, at some point it just puts so much pressure on your defense, because one of the things is if you're not making shots, then you're always in transition defense, and transition defense against a team like UIC is tough because they play fast, and on misses, which we had a lot of them, they're going to have some opportunities to get some open shots.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll have more of the Scott Nagy Show when we return to Beaver Creek at Fly Boys right after these messages. This is Wright State University basketball.
What does it mean to be a pioneer, reaching your full potential? It means being bold. No, bigger than bold, monumental. Where would we be if we ceased at the first "you can't do that"? How would we advance if we stopped in our tracks every time we heard "hey you, move back"? We develop thick skin when opposition wishes we'd stay soft. Against resistance, our persistence will pay off. At Wright State, our goal remains central. We are the pioneers of potential.
And welcome back. Good crowd here at Beaver Creek's Fly Boys. We'll be back again next week for the Scott Nagy Show and the Need to Follow and Katrina Merriweather Show here at Fly Boys in Beaver Creek. Wright State coming up this week back home for the first of 5 consecutive games at Wright State University's Nutter Center. And the first will be against the Oakland Golden Grizzlies on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. A team currently in the standings at Wright State is tied with a record of 7-4 in league play, just a game back of the league leaders, the Norse of Northern Kentucky University, who lost both games over the weekend in Indianapolis at IUPUI and also on a buzzer beater towards the end of the game against UIC yesterday. Coach, I know we talked all year. You don't really pay attention to the standings. You can just go ahead and you take a look at your team. Well, up next is a team that you're tied with in the league, a team the Raiders played well with on the road against Oakland. But this is a team that they've got some inside power right now. They have Hill Mays, who's one of the best players in the league, and also Brad Brechting's been playing well lately.
Yeah, I was a little shocked he wasn't player of the week. And when you look at his numbers, I mean, his field goal percentage and how many rebounds and how many points he scored, but they chose to give it to somebody that whose team won 2 games, and so I understand that. But they have 2 players they can throw the ball into, and that's a luxury. And they're stubborn about it. They will throw it in, and they shoot a lot of threes. They shoot second most threes in the league, and they shoot a good percentage.
Yeah, Cumberland, he is an outstanding three-point shooter. He shot the ball well against us, up at Oakland. But your team offensively played so well in that game.
Well, again, we were coming off the loss at Detroit, and we were pretty focused. We started out the game great. There were just a lot of hustle plays that we made, diving on the floor, and our team had a lot of energy, and we did play well. We were, but I tell you, Oakland, I've watched them on film. They've gotten better defensively. They've gotten better offensively. They're the second in the league in points per possession, so they're really a good offensive team, and they've gotten a lot better defensively.
Yeah, that's been their Achilles' heels, their defense. I mean, their one assistant coach, Dan Hipsher, was telling me when we played up there before, he says, I know you guys don't shoot the ball well, but you'll shoot 50% today because we don't guard anybody.
Well, I just got done watching our IUPUI game, which was, again, another physical game. Every game IUPUI plays in is physical, but Oakland responded. They lost the game. But defensively, they've gotten a lot better.
Yeah. Well, and Breckling is. He was 12 for 13 on. In
And
this last
they've had an unusual conference season in that they've won 4 out of 5 road games.
Yeah, I
and
know.
they've lost 3 home games.
I know. That's amazing.
And that's very unusual. But we know they played very good on the road.
And Oakland is a team that Cole Gentry played extremely well against their really talented freshman point guard on that team. Defensively, he played well against. I don't even think he got a shot off.
No,
is that
didn't.
right in that game? And he's an excellent three-point shooter.
I wouldn't plan on that happening again.
Oh,
he,
no.
he is a good shooter.
Yeah.
But Norris is playing very well. He's a tough kid. He's a good defender and a very good shooter.
With Breckling and his success here of late, obviously it makes them a little more difficult to deal with. The guys playing well. You've got him and Mays inside. There's the 2 guys you have to really be focused on, and they also shoot well from 3.
Yeah, it makes it difficult, and so it's going to be important that our post players, which we play 3 of them, in Loudon and Parker and Bill, that they work hard not to let those guys get easy catches. And that we did a great job of that, I think, in the first game of getting around them, making it very difficult to catch the basketball. And when they did catch it, they were farther away from the basket, and so they had to put the ball on the floor more. And we're just going to have to do a good job of that because we can't help in a lot off their good shooters.
I thought Bill Wamper had a great weekend. I mean, he's taking the ball to the hole more. He's shooting a lot of free throws, and he's a great free throw shooter. And his rebounding, his rebounding's getting a little bit better.
It is. I'd like to see him rebound even better.
Right.
But from that position, really, we're playing him out of position. He's a small forward, and we're playing him at power forward almost the entire game. And so he's having to battle some big people and some good athletes, and I think he's doing a good job. But he is playing better offensively.
Yes.
He's taking better shots,
Yes.
and he's getting to the free throw line a lot more. Like
he made a huge 3 yesterday in that when we were playing really, really well. It was a deep 3. Where just to keep us going. It was.
He's definitely shooting the ball better, and I think that some of it has to do with he just taking better shots.
In taking better shots, before he would take a 3, keep missing, he keeps shooting again. But now he'll think about, hey, I could probably drive the ball to the basket. So he's being a little more judicious before is what type of shot he's going to take in a game.
Well, the toughest guys to guard are guys that can really shoot it and put it on the floor. A lot of times you have guys that can really shoot it, but they don't put it on the floor real well. The guy that can really shoot it and put it on the floor, you've got to close out to him hard, and when you do that, it's very difficult to keep them from driving by you. Bill's done a good job of that, I think. And you can tell players all you want, hey, this is the way he goes, but when you have to close out to a good shooter, it makes it pretty difficult.
Cam Justice is that way. He's not just a 3-point shooter. I thought he takes the ball well to the basket.
He puts the ball on the floor very well, makes good plays.
Yeah, Tarkus Ferguson. You've played against some people here recently. I really, I've only been doing games in this league for the last 5 years, but my goodness, there's more good guards.
Yeah, and we've commented on that it's an offensive league this year without question.
Wow.
The points per possession for everybody's offense versus the points per possession defense is a lot higher this year than it was last year.
And it seems like everybody has got a guard like what you're talking about. He can make a 3 and he can take you off the dribble.
Yeah, and we're probably one of the more unusual teams. We don't have anybody averaging 19, 20, 20 points a game. We don't have anybody out there that we just green light and can take any shot they want, but we're a little more balanced.
Well, and I think that's why you have some success too, because when you get 4 guys in double figures, you win every time. That's just the way this team is.
Yeah, I think the balance is important. We have several guys that are getting to the free throw line, which to me is the most important thing. Just get to the free throw line, and because you're going to shoot, for us, we're shooting 75% from there, and so you're going to score a lot of points if you can get it to the free throw line.
Well, you look at the percentages, and Alan Best will be joining us a little bit later on, but he's shooting 47% from 3 this year, 50% in league games. He kind of picks his spots, I guess, because he hits some big shots here lately.
Yeah, he takes great shots. He does. He doesn't try to do anything that he can't do. He's very under control. He plays off of other people. He hustles. He makes all the hustle plays for us. But he's, percentage-wise, he's our best three-point shooter because he takes great ones.
We have Parker and Allen coming on. I'm glad you said that because I think both those guys understand their limitations and they only try to do what they can do, and that's why they're a value to your team.
Yeah, and some people don't like to hear that. Like, wait a minute,
but
I have
coaches
limitations.
do.
Yeah. Everybody has limitations. I have limitations, and that's why I have assistant coaches to help me with those limitations. But I do think sometimes the greatest strengths of some players is understanding what they don't do well and don't try to do it.
That's
and
exactly
do the
right.
things that you do well.
Well, I think both those guys do that. I think,
Well, we probably are getting close to having a team full of guys that are starting to do that and understand it better. I think that our two freshmen are starting to figure that out.
I think Malachi's definitely figured it out.
Kind of getting the things that we don't want them to do and focus on the things we want them to do. They're both doing it more, and they're both playing a lot more for us, which has really helped our basketball team.
And I think Malachi's defense says, early in the season he was committing fouls. Now he's staying
Brian
in front
and I
of
were talking about that the other day. When we looked at him in September, he couldn't guard anybody. He couldn't guard anybody, and now he's really starting to guard. And it just is, when young men come out of high school, they just don't understand how difficult it is and how important it is to guard. And a lot of these guys, because they've been superstars and big scorers, they haven't been asked to guard like we're asking them to guard.
Well, you can tell. You can just watch Malachi play, and you can just see in his eyes. He's focused. He is really focused on keeping his man in front of him.
Yeah, and you better do that or you don't get to play. And so the kids start to figure out that desperation of like, hey, I better do this and do it well or I'm just not going to play.
Yeah, he's figured it out over the last 6 or 7 games. He's played 20-plus minutes, and he's earned those minutes.
Like I say, Skyler and Malachi are when you look at their combined minutes, they've really gone up a lot, and it's helped our team. It's allowed us to rest Cole. It works itself through the whole team. Those minutes do, but anyway, we're able to play 8 guys, and so that's one of the reasons why we're going to try to play a little bit faster.
All right, substitution-wise, you told us this last year. You rely a lot upon your assistants to be making the substitutions during the game. Talk a little bit about that and how that works with your system.
Well, they understand. Like we talked during the week about matchups and things like that, and so they just know. And right now we're just kind of in a rhythm where we know when guys are going to go in, we know who they're going to substitute for, and so it's pretty easy. Now, what you run into when you have to make adjustments when guys get in foul trouble, and then you have to start to work that out and figure it out. But Coach Sargent and Coach Chambliss and Coach Cooley know for the most part who needs to be playing and who needs to be subbing and who's tired.
I said this several times on the radio yesterday when Loudon picked up his 4th foul, and when he picked up his 4th foul, I think we were a point ahead and there was like 10 minutes to go. Is that?
I can't remember, Coach.
But
right.
I said on radio, I said this is one of the toughest decisions you have to make as a coach. When do you put him back in? And
yeah,
Loudon,
and I worry less about that. What I worry about is a kid going back in with 4 fouls and not playing hard because they're afraid to foul.
Right.
And I have no interest in that. It's like if we're going to put you in, you play hard. If you foul, you foul. We'll get over that. But we're not going to put you in and you play soft because you're afraid to foul because that doesn't do us any good. We might as well not play you.
his 4th and 5th foul. Have you watched the tape? I didn't see either one of them. Now they happened at the far end, so couldn't see it. But
one of them, he just, because he weighs 270 pounds, he just bumps the kid a little bit, and it's a guard, and he moves a lot. And really, it wasn't his fault. We didn't do a very good job in transition defense. He ended up sprinting, couldn't get himself stopped, and he almost kind of ran over kid. And when he bumped him,
that was his 4th foul, right?
Yeah,
that's the one I thought was going to be on somebody else.
That was his 4th foul. And his 5th foul, he shouldn't have been hanging around doing what he did. It just wasn't a very smart foul.
And that's always difficult when you have a guy, but it all starts when the game begins. Guys got to realize, don't commit stupid fouls because it's going to put the team in trouble.
It just, obviously we don't want to foul. As much as we can, don't foul. Now, we want to protect the rim. We think that's important. And if we got to foul somebody, if they're going to get a layup, then let's do it and put them on the free throw line, which we've not done a very good job of this year. But, I just think the free throw line is so important in a basketball game. To get there, the percentage you shoot, like I said always, if we could go to the free throw line every time coming down the floor, we'd score 120 to 150 points a game. Consequently, we don't want the other team on the free throw line. We don't want to give them opportunities to sit there and watch the ball go in. Good shooters, when they see the ball go in, start to shoot the ball better. We don't want them to shoot a good percentage from the free throw line, so we're always trying to keep people off. So don't foul and trust that your team will help you.
Well, Coach, the time has flown by right now, but coming up is Oakland. Coming up on Thursday, got a couple more days to prepare for the Golden Grizzlies, and we'll see you at the Nutter Center on Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Scott Nagy. And coming up next, we'll be talking with either Parker Ernsthausen and also either Alan Vest. We'll see when we come back here to Fly Boys in Beaver Creek. This is Wright State University basketball.
Join us as we celebrate Wright State's 20th Arts Gala on April 13th. Enjoy an incredible evening of performances by our talented students in art, music, theater, dance, and motion pictures, plus fine dining and auction items too. All proceeds support arts scholarships to help our students succeed. That's Arts Gala on April 13th. For tickets, call or click.
And welcome back. Yes, we are back here at Flyboys in Beaver Creek. Thanks for joining us for the Scott and Nagy Show. And as promised, we have one of the seniors with us right now, and that is Alan Best. Yes, he is a senior, shooting the ball extremely well for the Raiders, playing well. Heard Coach Nagy talk about how Alan has played so hard, made all the hustle plays, 8 rebounds in the game against UIC. But we decided to take the stats of that game, except for your 8 rebounds in that game, Coach, Alan, and also just kind of throw those out because the team didn't play very well, came back, but a great bounce-back win yesterday at IUPUI.
Yeah, that's kind of what championship teams do. We're able to bounce back. That was a big win for us, especially going into 5 home games in a row. So it's a really good way to end the road. But this is I said to Coach Nagy, it's the second time this year where we've dropped the. First off, going on the road and playing on the road is not fun at all because it's very, very difficult. It's difficult to win on the road. Just look around the country, how many teams go on the road and just lose. So it's difficult. When you got to play back-to-back games on the road, which our conference does. Most conferences don't do this. I mean, the Big 12 doesn't do it. The Big 10 doesn't do it. It's rare that a Big 10 school plays back-to-back road games, or a Big 12 team plays a back-to-back road games, or the ACC plays back-to-back. We have 5 of those, or 4 of them. 4 of them we have to go on the road, play back-to-back games, and it's difficult, and particularly when you lose the first one. Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about, because 2 times this year we have lost a tough game on a Friday night and come back and won on Sunday. And just talk about the mindset, how you guys are able to do that. Yeah, losing that first game, it can be pretty hard the next day, but you just have to maintain focus, and coach has been really good after games, keeping the focus where it needs to be. And this is my 4th year here. In 3 years I've been going back-to-back away games, so it's not that hard for me, but for the freshmen and even the sophomores it can be fairly difficult, but I feel like we've maintained our focus very well there.
I think the staff stays positive with you too, doesn't he? I mean, like the UIC game, and I said this on the radio, when it's a rebounding issue or it's a defensive issue or it's an attitude issue, you can rip into your kids because they need to be talked to. But when it's a shooting issue, hey, you're not trying to miss shots. I mean, so you've got to be very, very careful.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do there, but as far as the effort standpoint, I feel like we're all very coachable kids, and the coaches know that, so they can be in us a little bit during the games, but they also know where they need to take it easy and just kind of talk to us. But so far, yeah, the coaches and us have molded pretty well with that aspect.
Alan, how do you handle that after a game, like Friday night? Individually, you sit there, obviously guys upset with the way they played and didn't do what they know they're capable of doing. Do you handle it individually or collectively? You get together as a group, you talk to each other. I mean, how do you do that? You don't have a whole lot of time because you have one day to prepare for the next game.
Yeah, I think as far as a mindset standpoint goes, when you have a really good game, it's more of an individual thing, but after a tough loss, you just have to bind together as a team, maybe talk as much as you can as a team, maybe a players-only type of meeting. But, yeah, the more you can focus as a whole instead of just an individual and that kind of consequences, the better you'll be.
Alan, it's your 4th year here, as you mentioned that. What was it like for you as a younger player? Were you able to hang around some guys who could help you as far as becoming more of a leader on this team? You soak in the things that they've learned?
Yeah, that actually helped a lot. I feel like it was a couple weeks ago I was the nerdy white kid as a freshman, but no, JT Yoho helped a lot, Joe Thomason helped a lot, and just seeing that from afar, and even them talking to me, showing me the ropes a little bit, it helped a lot. And the 4 seniors here, me, Adam, Parker, and Mark, I think we've done a really good job so far.
I'm glad you mentioned some of the guys who played here before. Do you stay in contact with any of them?
Yeah, I stay in contact pretty well with them. I talk to Grant a lot, actually.
Okay. Benzinger?
Yeah, Grant Benzinger. He's doing really well over there. And then my brother's still playing overseas, so I have a lot of people to look up to still.
I have a lot of people I can ask questions to, so that's helped me a lot.
You know, I was asking, I don't know if you've had a chance to maybe follow what Joe Thomason has done. You know, I think it's been amazing. And there's a guy with a lot of leadership skills, because you mentioned his name, that's why I brought it up. You know, I don't see a better performance from one guy in the years I've been doing games than that final game against Green Bay in the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, he left it all out there, 4 straight games, and that really told you about a lot in his inside, and he's overcome a lot of issues.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible toughness from that guy. And, you know, my game, I don't really try to mirror after him. We're kind of different players, but especially the toughness and the effort and the leadership, I kind of try to mirror myself.
Well, you're shooting the ball really well this year.
Thank
You just
you.
pick your spots, right?
Yeah, I try to shoot when I'm open. That's my job. I'm more on the defensive end, more on the leadership end. But, yeah, I've been shooting it pretty well. That's great for my confidence. But hopefully that stays like that.
You're a better shooter than your dad ever was, right?
Oh, way better, yeah.
Well, you know, having a father that played, I think, is a help, because he's gone through, your dad, Mark, has gone through a lot of the stuff that you're going through, and I don't know whether he confides in you or tries to pump you up, but they're at every game. I mean, they are at every game, and when things don't go well, he's experienced that as a player. Now he's got a son. Does he help you at all? Or
Yeah, having that kind of a support system, you know, he's really helped me a lot. And even my mom, too, she's never played basketball. I bring this up every time.
Yeah, I know.
She's
You said
the only
that
one that never
before.
plays basketball. But, I mean, she probably knows more than I do from where I am now, but being around the game so much. But, yeah, they help a lot. Whenever they can send a text or send a call after a tough loss, or even after I had a great game, and then they just kind of keep me level.
Well, you know, you talk about that, and it's so cool that you, and I think Parker's the same. I talked to Coach Nagy about this earlier, is that you don't try to do things you can't do. And I think that is a great message for young players, because you see a lot of young players that they watch Sports Center and they see all this stuff that goes on TV. They never show the things that you and Parker do. They show the dunks and the three-point baskets, but learning how to play the game of basketball is difficult, and learning how to play within your skill level is far more important, and you guys do that. I mean, you are so good at that. I mean, it's and that's a trait that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, me and Parker we're very comfortable in our roles, and approaching a high school player, you know, most of the time they say to make it into Division I college basketball, you have to be a great shooter, you have to be great at the basket, stuff like that. But, you know, I'm getting my minutes because I'm a pretty good defender. I don't turn the ball over, and I make open shots, and that's usually all it takes.
And you've guarded multiple type players. I mean, I've been impressed with that. You've guarded big forwards, you've guarded wing players, you've guarded. You've been. I mean, you switch once in a while, you get on a guard. I mean. That's got to be a challenge.
Yeah, and I've actually, the freshman and sophomore year, I was on scout team a lot, so I actually had the chance to guard great players no matter what position. And they kind of kicked my butt a lot, but it taught me a pretty good lesson. That's why I can do that now.
Who are some of the players that you've had to guard this year in the league that are some of the most difficult to defend?
Well, who we just played, Cameron
Justice,
Cameron Justice, yeah. Really good player, really good shooter, really crafty, but I'm glad I don't have to guard him again. Well, we'll see how the tournament plays out. But, yeah, he's a really good player. And, you know, I never really had to guard Drew McDonald, but that's a tough kid. That's kind of we have to guard him with the whole team. So we'll play him. NKU's coming up soon, so we'll prepare for them. We're
talking with Alan Vest, one of the seniors on the Wright State men's basketball team this year. Got to ask you this question. You know, pressure, they talk about pressure. It comes from within. You know, there are times when you guys just have to, you know, kind of have fun, you know, with each other. And when is the right time? You've been on the bus. Obviously, when you come home after a victory, it's easy, you know. And I can hear you a lot back there, you know, talking with a lot of the guys back there, you know, and having a good time. And for you, you know, when is the right time? I mean, you got to keep guys loose. It's a long season. You guys are together a long time, and you have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, that's a pretty fine line to play. But you know, after a win, it's really easy. But after a tough loss, you know, you just got to stick together. And it's a little less about having fun and a little more about just, you know, we have to stay together, take it one game at a time, and just keep it moving.
Do you guys keep a look at the standings? Do you pay attention to that and look ahead?
Maybe a little bit. It's not the biggest deal in the world right now. I know it puts us in a good spot in the postseason, but the league is very tight right now. So there's not really a way to sway right now.
So you hear coaches say, you know, you take them one at a time, and that is so true, you know, this year in the Horizon League.
Yeah, a lot of people have come up to me and asked, or not asked, but said, every single game, like this is a really important game coming up. This is a really important game, but that's how every single game is. That was how it was when we were in Cancun at the very beginning of the season, and how it is now. So it all comes down to where you finish at the end.
I said that to Coach Nagy on Sunday afternoon, and he accused me of putting a lot of pressure on him. But it's true. Every game is a big game. I mean, you only have 31 games. Every game is big, and you only have 7 games left in your regular season as a senior.
Thanks for reminding me.
I know, it's tough. It goes by so fast, but every game is important.
Yeah. It's 7 games left. It's crazy. It's been a really long ride, but we got postseason left. I'd like to think it's a little more than 7 games.
I think you got at least 11 left.
Maybe 20 more games. We'll see, but I'm not sure how long it is. But it's coming to an end. We just have to stay focused.
Well, we're throwing out cliches. You're only as good as your next game. And right now, you have Oakland, and this is a team that's playing much better lately.
Yeah.
And they play well on the road. You heard Coach Nagy talk about that.
Yeah, I think they went on the road 5 games and won 4 of them. So we got a really good test coming up. But we really stuck it to them the first time around. We played really well. Hopefully we can maintain that attitude, that game plan. But, yeah, it's a tough team.
And you guys know that because you had played so well against them. They're going to come here with a little chip on their shoulder, so to speak, and you want to kind of make things even in that game. So you got to be ready for them.
Yeah, I think we're going to be ready.
Now, here lately, though, they've been able to get the ball. Hill Mays, I thought we did a great job on him defensively, team defense against him. He wasn't a factor like he has been in other games, so obviously he's got a lot to play for. But we talked with Coach Nagy about Brad Brechting, taller player down in low. I thought Parker played extremely well in that game defensively, especially against Hill Mays in that Oakland game.
Yeah, both of our bigs played really well that game, but Hill Mays is a first-team All-League guy, and Brad Brechting has been playing like he's a first-team All-League guy. So we got our hands full. They got great shooters, too, so I'll be busy chasing people around. But I think we'll be okay.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll have more. We got Alan here for a couple of more minutes. Parker Ernsthausen will join us in about 5 minutes from right now. Stay with us. This is the Scott Nagy Radio Show. We're coming to you live from Flyboys in Beaver Creek. This is Wright State University basketball.
Hi, I'm Bob Grody, class of 1976 and former Raiders player and coach. Did you know that once you're a Wright State grad, you're automatically a member of the Alumni Association? As a member, tap into the Wright State Network, attend a local alumni event, and earn discounts and special offers. Log on to WrightStateAlumni.com and make the most of your membership. Thank you, and go Raiders.
And welcome back. We thank everybody for coming out here to Beaver Creek to Fly Boys, talking about Wright State University men's basketball in action again against the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland. Currently 7-4 in the league. Both Wright State and Oakland are tied for second, just 1 game behind league-leading Northern Kentucky, who lost both games over the weekend in Chicago and Indianapolis. Now, we have about a minute or 2 left, and, I was thinking about doing this sometime during the year, and that had to do with maybe one of the players who joined us. We really love this segment. But having a chance to actually, be the person in charge and interview Coach Brown, because some of these conversations are outstanding on the road, and I want to let you guys, be a part of that. Now, Alan, you go ahead and you take over the show right now.
All right.
Remember, look in the camera.
The intros and everything?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Alan Vest from Wright State Basketball down at Flyboys. So, Coach Brown, who's your least favorite player on the Wright State men's basketball team?
Who's the least favorite? You are.
Okay, that's definitely not true.
Got a follow-up, Alan?
No, that about covers it.
Oh, come on now. Now, you probably heard, Coach Brown comes to a lot of the practices, and you guys see them there, and he coaches, he's coached for so many years and he's got his class. There's guys who have been on the team who have been on the class before. Anybody talk about that, how tough he is on these guys?
Oh, yeah, he's so tough on us. It's tougher than Coach Nagy is. He's a really good sport. He's a good dude. I like to look at him as a mentor. Especially basketball and otherwise, but he's a really good person to have around. I've had some pretty good conversations with him. I know he's really close. He actually coached my dad in college, so.
I was just going to say, you ought to really be thanking me, because if I had recruited your dad, you wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. And I appreciate that, Coach. Thank you.
Well, what we love a lot about Coach Brown is obviously his experience and his knowledge of the game, but, the passion he brings, for Wright State.
Tell him about the referee yesterday.
Oh, the referee? Oh, yeah, one of the referees came by before. Sometimes they'll give you a fist bump, good game and all that. Well, one of them came by, and they gave Coach Brown a double fist bump. Three of them. Was it three?
Yeah. And
he
they
kinda
were with some effort, I would say.
Yeah. So it's like, well, maybe the reputation has got around a little bit. But, they called a good game yesterday.
Yes, they did.
I thought they
yes,
did.
They did. Yes, they
Yeah,
did.
for the most part, they really, really do. So, but, sometimes we just, have to be honest. From our point of view, okay, we usually call it that way.
Yep.
And Coach is he's very good about that.
I think they watch
He
our
really is.
games once in a while, and they listen.
Well, Alan, thanks a lot. There's a lot of games left in the year. I won't tell you how many, because there'll be as many as you guys want.
Yep.
Okay, you just got to keep playing. But best of luck right now against Oakland coming up on
Appreciate
Thursday.
it. Thank you.
Congratulations on a great season so
Thank
far.
you.
You've
Absolutely.
been great.
All right. Thanks. Maybe be with us again before the end of the year.
Absolutely.
We'll take another break, our final break. When we come back, we've got another senior, Parker Ernsthausen, waiting in the wings. This is Scott Nagy Show, live from Flyboys in Beaver Creek. This is Wright State University basketball.
Hi, I'm Bob Grody, class of 1976 and former Raiders player and coach. Did you know that once you're a Wright State grad, you're automatically a member of the Alumni Association? As a member, tap into the Wright State Network, attend a local alumni event, and earn discounts and special offers. Log on to WrightStateAlumni.com and make the most of your membership. Thank you, and go Raiders.
And we're back with Hall of Fame coach Jim Brown, and back, like I was saying, to Parker Ernsthausen, one of the seniors on the team. It's been like 5 or 6 times he's been here. He's been a regular. In fact, he just told me, he says his parents said that, maybe he could be hosting here soon. We had Alan, do a tryout right now. So, you have a chance too, Parker.
Yeah, I saw Alan try out.
Let's get this a little bit closer here, technically. All right, there we go.
I saw Alan try that out. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys do a great job, and the follow-up questions and thinking on your feet. That's not for me, I don't think. So.
We have a lot of fun with it because of the student athletes, and we really appreciate, again, Coach Nagy and his staff, allowing us and Bob Noss putting this together to be able to, get the student athletes out here. In the past, we haven't had that opportunity, and I know I get a lot of great feedback, from the fans getting to know you guys, and I think that's really important because it's about, the relationship between the team, and the community and the fans who, really love this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of guys enjoy coming here and, talking to you guys. We hang out on the bus with you guys, and you guys are around, so it's nice to kind of share that relationship with the other people.
This last road trip we went on was sort of like an NBA road trip because we played a 9 o'clock game on Friday night. 9 o'clock. Didn't get back to the bus until 11:30. And what did we do? We got on the bus and went to Indianapolis and got there at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. So a lot of people don't understand, but that's not easy to do. I mean, that's disruptive to what you're trying to do as a player.
No, definitely, yeah. I think we rolled in about 2:30. They hand out the hotel cards. You're kind of half asleep, and hopefully you find the right room, and you get there, and you go to sleep, and all of a sudden it's time for breakfast, and we're watching film at IUPUI. So, yeah, it was a quick turnaround, but, it's nice to be able to move on that quick. Coach talks about, football, they play one game a week, so you lose on that Saturday, you got a whole week to think about it. Right. Not like us where, we turn around and play a 1 o'clock game, within 36 hours there. So
you heard Alan talk about it. What do you do as individually after a tough loss like that? I mean, this is your 5th year, here at Wright State. How do you prepare yourself and able to get over something like that?
Yeah, I think you just try to keep it in perspective a little bit. You're going to win some, you lose some throughout the year, hopefully more wins than losses, but just have some perspective and really just, not let that affect the next game because we are, like Coach Brown said, play 2 road games back-to-back. So, just being able to move on and, steal one at IUPUI like we did, I mean, that's huge, and that kind of, helps your momentum going into the next weekend.
You think about it right now, the team only has 2 more road games left, and that's the end of the regular season, so 5 consecutive games now here at home.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I think, we're coming home from IUPUI. We're kind of realizing, okay, we just got that one. Now 5 straight at home, which Coach stresses that doesn't guarantee anything, but it's always nice to be comfortable in your house and, defend the Nutter Center. So we'll have 5 of those, and then we'll go on the road for 2 in Green Bay.
Well, you've put yourself in great position because you've got Oakland coming in here. They're tied with you. You can separate. They got to go down to Northern. That's a good chance they could lose there. So you could separate yourself. You got Northern coming in a week. So, you guys, despite the fact that we've had a couple setbacks on the road unexpectedly at Detroit and up at UIC, we're still in. It's in our own hands, so to speak, what Absolutely. We can do to get to the league championship.
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. The league's kind of, I looked at the standings after the UIC won yesterday, and I was kind of like, man, it's still up for
Yes.
grabs a little bit. Everybody has about the same record, which, that puts us in a good spot. We have the home game, so I'd say we have the advantage there headed into the second half of the league.
Parker, the run last year this team made, to finish number 2 seed, then win the Horizon League tournament. What can you take from that as far as being able to get with this team to help you down the stretch here and maybe get a regular season championship?
Yeah, I think we're kind of coming over the hump here as far as guys realizing what needs to be done to win games and win championships. Alan was up here earlier, and I don't think you can say enough things about Alan Vest lately. The way he's playing, it shows up in the stats now. He's making shots like nobody's business, and then he's also, he's on the floor, he's rebounding, he's everywhere. So if you guys watch the games, just watch how Alan flies around. That's what Coach stresses. That's what he wants everybody to do.
Your parents, they have been with you the whole way. I think your dad has made every game that you've been here at Wright State.
Yeah.
We saw him up in Chicago. Never changes. He's never too high. He's never too low. And I don't know, but Coach, I haven't looked on the road. Is Mom and Dad there sitting closer together now?
Not much.
Okay. They usually are apart.
Yes.
During the games.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're still separate. They were a little farther apart from one of the games this weekend. I kind of looked up and I was like, "Whoa, is something else going on?" But I don't. I don't think so. I think it's just sometimes the way the seating arrangement works. And my mom likes to be a little closer to the floor. And my dad, for multiple reasons, tries to stay away from the floor a little bit. So.
Parker, a lot of basketball left. You're only as good as the next game. Again, that cliche thrown out there I talked with Alan about. But, to this point, reflecting upon not only the season but your time here at Wright State, what are some of the things that stick out to you?
Yeah, it's been a long journey, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things people don't see behind the scenes. But, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And as I've been kind of thinking about that, this last month here, realizing, it is coming to an end, hopefully a little longer than shorter. But, it's been great. I've made a ton of friendships, a ton of great friends for the rest of my life, guys I still keep in touch with. Actually, Dan Colley's coming to the game Saturday, former Wright State player. So, and I talk to those guys periodically, and I really value those friendships because we went through a lot basketball-wise, and it's something I hope to take with me for the rest of my life.
And you're working on your master's, correct?
Yeah. So I'm just in one class right now, looking to finish that up. That'll be done beginning of March here, and then I'll hopefully start taking the CPA exam once the season ends. So.
And you're looking also, and you're smart. A lot of college kids, that doesn't matter if you're playing sports or not, getting yourself ready, for your life's work. And obviously you're working on that, resumes and things, and you may have something in the works for you out west.
Yeah, so I have a job in Phoenix, Arizona lined up for next October. So I think that's been great. I had that since, the season started here. So I've really just been able to enjoy basketball, not have to worry, have that hanging over my head. So just being able to relax and enjoy my time.
Growing up in Bowling Green, a lot of snow and cold and whatever, so I guess Phoenix sounds pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I got my shorts on today.
I saw that.
I'm looking for this to be maybe my last winter for a couple years, so looking forward to that.
Well, Ohio weather is you just never know what you're going to get. I have never been so cold as I was Friday night in Chicago. And then yesterday, Coach Nagy and I were walking to the bus, and he says, "Do you believe this weather?" And it was and that happens. You won't have that in Phoenix. The difference would be 192.
Yeah, we're looking at 85 to 87 instead of 32 to 16 or something.
You knew it was cold when Coach Cooley actually wore pants. Okay? He always wears shorts. It's like 20 degrees out. It's all right because you guys came from South Dakota State.
That guy comes around the corner half the time, shorts and a T-shirt. It doesn't matter what month it is. A big smile on his face. So. No.
How much fun was it yesterday to see a three-point shot go in? You've struggled here recently from three-point line, and you got one in yesterday.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good to see that go in. Hopefully I can build a little momentum on that. The coaches just keep telling me, shoot it when you're open because that's going to open up other things like it kind of did in the second half for Bill and Allen to cut to the basket, drew some fouls. So I'm going to keep shooting it when I'm open. I'm confident that it's going to go in, and it was great during that run to see one go in.
A lot of teams don't have the luxury of playing a 6'11" guy at the high post or the elbow as a passer. You're very adept. Some of the passes you made, Parker, bounce passes in traffic, and they get through and guys finish. People don't appreciate it. The guy makes the basket. I've said this for years, and I really believe this. If the game was invented this way, you would have a lot more points if it was by my system. When a player scores a basket, he gets a point. The team gets 2 points, he gets a point, and the guy that makes the pass gets a point. So you would get a point for an assist.
It's like a hockey.
Yeah, exactly like hockey. And I think people would be more inclined to make passes if the game was actually scored that way.
Yeah, I enjoy passing. We have a lot of good scorers. Big Lou, Cole, Bill, has been scoring the ball lately, Allen. So I mean, I'll give it up to them. Whoever's hot, let's keep it rolling, and I'm good with moving the ball around. So.
Well, you're very effective with the bounce pass. I mean, bounce pass in traffic, a couple of times it's a tough pass to make. I mean, there's no question it's a tough pass to make, but, boy, you've had a lot more success than you've had failures with it.
Yeah, hopefully that keeps it going. Half the time I think I turn it over and those guys make a great catch, and I'm like, all right, let's go. We're all right. So.
You got to appreciate the fact, too, in a game like yesterday when Lou got into foul trouble, it changes, what your responsibilities are for over 40 minutes.
Yeah, when Big Lou, got into foul trouble a little bit there, it probably increases, maybe me looking at the basket to score a little bit. So in the first half, I got that done, and I think that takes the pressure off our offense a little bit if I can put a couple baskets in here or there, keep the defense honest. But, like I said, we had a lot of great scores, and in the second half, those guys kind of took over, and, Mark Hughes kind of got fired up going downhill, and, that was that.
The next opponent is Oakland. Remember that game really well. Loudon and you both played well in that game. Almost all the Raiders played extremely well, in that game that went on the road that they really needed coming back from that loss at Detroit Mercy. Talk about this team, and it's also the way Brechting is playing right now. Defensively, you and Loudon to be challenged on Thursday.
Yeah, I think we were challenged in the IUPUI game. They have some really good, tough bigs.
Big Paul, and
Paul and the big 7'1" guy. I mean, he's huge. I felt
Ismail.
small out there, which I usually don't. I'm looking up to him as he's running on the court, and I'm like, whoa. But, these guys have two good bigs, too. Hills Mays, obviously an all-league player. And, last time when we were up there, I managed to get a couple fouls on him, maybe some generous calls. But, he'll be ready this time, and I'm sure Campy will be on the refs, looking to make sure that doesn't happen again. So, we're going to do our best. We'll have a great game plan, and we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, both of them are very efficient shooters, where they're down on the blocks both ways. They don't miss a whole lot when they're down there.
Yeah, I mean, we watched, some film today getting ready for Oakland, starting the week off, and, Brechting's shooting a lot of layups, a lot of, close shots, and he's putting them in, credit to him. So hopefully, we'll have a game plan for that and make sure that we limit that as much as possible.
Well, Parker, we've really enjoyed the time that you've been able to spend with us. Who knows, maybe we'll be talking again before the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm hoping to come back again. I'm not coming for your guys' job, but I do enjoy it a lot. So hopefully they'll invite me back one more time.
Just think of some questions. Ask some real tough ones to Coach Brown, okay?
All right, yeah, I'll get a list together.
All right, well, best of luck to you and the
Thank
team
you.
coming up on Thursday. It all starts with one game against Oakland, all right?
Absolutely.
All right, fans, thanks for coming out here tonight. We really appreciate it. Well, we're going to be back again next week. Katrina Merriweather Show will be coming your way at 5:30 till 6. Coach Nagy will be by 6 o'clock, and who knows who the players are we will have next week. Once we know, we will let you know. But we hope we see you out at Wright State University's Nutter Center as the Raiders. Up next, they're tied for second in the Horizon League with the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland University coming to town into Fairborn on Thursday. The game starts at 7, 6:45. We're on the air on the radio. Also, Coach Brown and I will be on ESPN Plus for that game. See you at the game. This is Chris Collins. Thanks for Coach Jim Brown and all of those here tonight joining us at Flyboys in Beaver Creek. Thank you for watching the Scott Nagy Show.